All right, here we go with Simplified series OLED images using free open source GIMP software. The prerequisite for doing OLED images is going to be installing this. So, how do we install GIMP? Okay, well, you go to Google and you type download GIMP and you go to the downloads page. I'm on a Mac. I'm going to grab the Mac version directly. I hit download here. And I already got one, so I'm not going to do it again. But you download that and you get this smiley face guy. He's cute. That's your applications folder. You put it in there. You can put this on an external drive, which I did. Self-contained app. Save some space. This is about half a gig, so you might want to do that. Anyway, I will include several things for download with links. First would be actually what I'm going to be following, which is what I wrote up here, step by step of how to do things in a pretty straightforward, just follow each step way. So first is install. External hard drive works fine. And then here's some links I'm going to give you for these two things for future reference, which is the documentation page, and you can search anything in here like crop. All right, well, here, crop tool tells you everything about it, etc. Very good websites, easy to navigate, search works great, and there you go. And then there's a tutorials page, which I didn't even look at yet, but here's some great things to probably play with. Free Photoshop is essentially what you're getting, right? Okay, so first thing you can do is going to prep this to use some presets and grids and slicing tools and stuff. But it's essentially the same process as Photoshop, but some prerequisite setup in here is a good thing to do, so that's what this first video is. To start off, you want to do File, New, and we're going to make this 128 because that's the width of our OLED screen, and we're going to make 32, and we're going to make advanced options here. We're going to make the resolution 96. Nope, not that. 96. Good. The color space, we're going to make grayscale 8-bit, and oh, here, background color, we'll make that white. Okay, then we do file, create template, and we name it 128 by 32 so that we can have this for the future. So file, well, we should actually say okay and make it, right? So here's our single frame static image frame for an OLED display. So I'm going to do file, create template, and I'm going to name it 128 by 32. Cool. That's for a single frame image. Now do the same for animations template. You can resize this later if needed, but it makes starting things out easily. So forget this. I'm going to do file, new, 128 by whatever height. So if you do some math, and if the screen is 32 pixels high and you want 30 frames, you'd hit 960. So that's like about a 1 second animation. And if it loops, then that's a 1 second loop. It's a good number. So we'll take 960 and we'll go back to file, new, 128 by 960. And we'll just check these are still here. 96, yes. Grayscale, yes. 8-bit, yes. Background color, white, yes. Great. Say okay. Now here's our long file for animations. Same deal. Let's make a template for this so we can easily not have to do all that again later. So we go file, create template, and we'll name this 128 by 960, and maybe like a reminder that that's about 30 frames. Well, it is 30 frames. Okay. So there, that's that step. 128, 30 frames, or whatever number of frames you did based on 32. Yes. Okay, next, let's set up some shortcuts. So we're going to go to help. We're going to go to keyboard. Oh, help because I don't know where it is. Keyboard shortcuts. It's right in the main menu there. Keyboard shortcuts right here. And you're going to search for zoom. And you're going to go down to zoom in. I don't know why there are two of them, but I'm going to just leave it on this key looking one because it looks like a key. And the shortcut is going to be zoom in, yeah. And when you click here, you know, you edit, you make these things. So we're making zoom in and out be command and the equal sign, which is the plus on your keyboard, and zoom out is going to be command and the minus key on your keyboard, or control, in the sense if this is all done on Windows, it's probably about the same, but this will be, you know, you'd use control. So you click here and you do the key and then it saves it. So great. So that was zoom in a lot. So we said zoom in and I said zoom out already. Again, you click here, you do your shortcut, and then you hit save. That's it. Close. Next, preferences folders. All right, so you want to set up your fonts to be available in case you want to type stuff with more than whatever's in here already. So for fonts, you go to preferences and you go to folders, which is down here. Okay, and you open that up and you go down to fonts, and if you're on a Mac, your system font folder is found at your user library fonts here. So you'd add this. You basically go browse, and then you'd browse and you'd go to there and you select it and put it in the list. If you're on Windows, I think it's this app data local Microsoft Windows fonts, and you'd navigate to that, select it, put it in the list, right? Great. And then you say okay. Next, plugins. We're going to create a plugin that doesn't exist, and I've gone ahead and already edited it to have presets that are helpful here, particularly slicing this every 32 pixels vertically, because guides is here, but it doesn't, there's no reason to go into this, but guides as now you can like do a new guide, and or you can drag one in from up here or whatever you do, and you know, you could do that all the way till 9, you know, make sure you're on 32 pixels. That's a lot to do, so I'm not going to do it that way. We have a preset instead, and here's how we're going to set that up. First, create a plugin folder if it doesn't exist. The path you're going to in Windows is this folder. Now that you've installed GIMP, you'll have this, and if it's GIMP 2.1, then this is what you'll have. If it's a newer version, this number will be different, but for right now, that's what it is. Mac OS, your path is here, so we will go, right? So this is my user library, application support, GIMP 210, right? So in this folder, we're going to create a plugins folder if it doesn't exist. Well, here's P. There's no plugin folder. So I'm going to make a new folder, and we're going to call it just like that, plug-in. Okay, ins with an S. Plugins. And you do the same thing on Windows, just make the folder if it's not there. Then I got this link here to the GIMP slice plugin zip file that I already set everything up for. And when you open that, there will be 3 things in there. And it's these 3. Now you don't want to do what I just did. You don't want a folder within a folder. You're going to end up with just these 3 items inside the plugins folder that we just made, like this. So unzip it, put these 3 in here. The key being that this INI file, I already wrote out all the coordinates for all the guides to slice up to, I don't know, maybe like 5,000 whatever pixels. You're never going to need that many, but that's fine. The guides can go beyond the image, but this is enough to cover you. And it's going to be called OLED 32px frames. That's what I named the preset, and you'll see that in a minute. But point is, this INI file is already edited and ready to go. We need to make it get recognized though, so let's keep going here. So this is what we're gonna do. You download that, you unzip them into there. Great. Then we're gonna quit GIMP. Okay, so go here, we quit. Then you want to delete the file plugins RC. Plugin RC. I guess it's plugin RC. Oops. Okay. So here it is. You're gonna just get rid of that. That's basically containing all the plugins that it knew of. And now we're adding one. We want it to rescan the plugins and it'll get added. So that's essentially what's happening. We're going to restart GIMP to rescan the plugins and include the newly installed plugin in the menus, right? Great. So I go to GIMP and it's going to take a little bit longer to open. We're talking like 7-8 seconds longer than it normally does because it's rebuilding its database in the plugin RC folder file. And now you can see that over here there's a new file that got created right here. 3 a.m. Well, that was right now. Okay, so that's done, and we're now ready to start making stuff. So we'll pick up from here.